Peek again and you're fired. The single dad's calm reply changed everything. The silence in the office was deafening as everyone froze, eyes darting between Marcus and his boss. No one dared to breathe. What happened next would change not just Marcus's life, but everyone who witnessed that moment. Stay with me until the end to discover how a single father's quiet dignity in the face of workplace bullying transformed an entire company culture overnight. Marcus Jenkins stared at his computer screen, the numbers blurring before his tired eyes. 3 spreadsheets open, 2 reports due by end of day, and his phone buzzing with a text from his daughter's school. Again. The 4th time this week, and it was only Wednesday. He glanced at his watch, 2:17 p.m. The school day ended at 3 o'clock, and his boss, Richard Harmon, had scheduled a department meeting for 3:15. Not again, Marcus whispered, rubbing his temples. 6 months as a single dad had taught him many things, but how to be in 2 places at once wasn't one of them. Since losing his wife to cancer last year, Marcus had been barely treading water. 11-year-old Lily was struggling with grief, acting out at school, and Marcus was struggling to keep his job at Pinnacle Financial while being the only parent his daughter had left. His in-laws lived across the country, and his own parents were too elderly to help with childcare. He picked up his phone and read the text, "Mr. Jenkins, Lily had another anxiety attack. She's calmer now but asking for you. Please call when you can." Marcus closed his eyes briefly. He'd have to leave early. Again. Richard had made it clear last time that his patience was wearing thin. Family emergencies can't happen every week, Jenkins, he'd said, not bothering to lower his voice as the entire department listened. Some of us manage to keep our personal lives from interfering with work. Taking a deep breath, Marcus stood and walked to Richard's office, knocking softly on the open door. Richard looked up, his expression immediately souring. "Let me guess. Another emergency?" "My daughter's school called. She's having a rough day, and I need to." "You need to do your job," Richard cut him off. "The Westfield account needs those projections by 5, and I expect you at that meeting. Figure it out." Marcus felt heat rising in his neck. "I understand the work is important, but my daughter is always having some crisis," Richard finished. "Look, Jenkins, I sympathize with your situation, but this is a workplace. Everyone else manages to handle their personal lives without constant disruptions." The words stung because they echoed Marcus's own self-doubt. Was he failing at both parenting and his career? He thought of Lily sitting in the school counselor's office, waiting for the father who promised he'd always be there for her. "I can finish the projections from home tonight and email them," Marcus offered. "And I can call in for the meeting." Richard leaned back in his chair. "That's not how we do things here. You're either committed to this job or you're not." From the corner of his eye, Marcus noticed several coworkers pretending not to listen while stealing glances at the confrontation. Among them was Diane from HR, who quickly looked away when Marcus caught her eye. "I am committed," Marcus said quietly. "I've never missed a deadline. I've been coming in early and staying late when I can. But my daughter lost her mother, and she needs me right now." Richard sighed dramatically. "We all have problems, Jenkins. I need reliable team members. If you can't be that person, maybe Pinnacle isn't the right fit for you." The threat hung in the air. Marcus felt a strange calm settle over him. 6 months of walking on eggshells, of apologizing for being a parent, of swallowing his pride, something inside him finally snapped, not into anger, but into clarity. "My daughter's name is Lily," he said softly. "She's 11 years old and she lost her mother to cancer 187 days ago. She's not a problem or a situation. She's a child who needs her father." Richard's eyes narrowed. "Are you lecturing me, Jenkins?" "No," Marcus replied. "I'm just reminding both of us what matters. I'll get the Westfield projections done. I always do. But I'm going to pick up my daughter now. He turned to leave when Richard's voice stopped him. "Peek at that phone one more time today, Jenkins, and you're fired." "I mean it." The office went completely silent. Everyone had heard. Marcus slowly turned back, aware of all eyes on him. In that moment, he thought about Lily, about the promise he'd made to his wife before she died, about the kind of example he wanted to set for his daughter. "You know," Marcus said, his voice steady and clear enough for everyone to hear, "my wife used to say that how people treat you when you're vulnerable shows you who they really are. I think that goes both ways, how we treat others when they're vulnerable shows who we are, too." He looked directly at Richard. "I'm going to get my daughter now. I'll finish the projections tonight, and I'll call in for the meeting. If that's not good enough, then yes, you'll have to fire me. But I won't apologize for being a father. That's the most important job I have." The silence that followed was broken by the sound of someone slowly clapping. It was Diane from HR, rising from her desk. "Actually, Richard," she said, "I think we need to discuss company policy regarding family leave and flexible work arrangements. The company handbook clearly states that we accommodate family emergencies, and I don't believe Mr. Jenkins has exceeded his allotted personal time." Richard's face flushed. "This isn't your concern, Diane." "As the HR director, I believe it is," she replied, then turned to Marcus. "Go get your daughter, Mr. Jenkins. We'll sort this out." Marcus nodded gratefully and left, feeling lighter than he had in months. When he arrived at the school, Lily was sitting in the counselor's office, her small frame hunched over, red-rimmed eyes lighting up when she saw him. "You came," she whispered as he knelt beside her. "Always," he promised, pulling her into a hug. "No matter what." That evening, after Lily had finally fallen asleep, Marcus completed the Westfield projections and sent them to the entire team. He also dialed into the meeting, surprised when Richard acknowledged his presence without comment. The next morning, Marcus arrived at work prepared for the worst. Instead, he found an email from the company CEO requesting a meeting. His stomach dropped. This was it. He was being fired. But when he entered the executive suite, he found not only the CEO, but also Diane from HR and, surprisingly, Richard, looking uncomfortable. "Mr. Jenkins," the CEO began, "I've been made aware of yesterday's incident. Several employees have come forward with concerns about the work environment in your department." Marcus braced himself, but the CEO continued, "Richard and I have had a long discussion about leadership styles and company values. We pride ourselves on being a family-friendly workplace, and it seems we've fallen short." Richard cleared his throat. "I owe you an apology, Jenkins, Marcus. My behavior was unprofessional and unkind." The CEO nodded. "We'd like to offer you a modified schedule that allows you to be there for your daughter while maintaining your position here. Diane has drafted a proposal." Diane slid a folder across the table. "Flexible hours, 2 work-from-home days per week, and emergency family leave when needed. We're actually implementing this company-wide for all employees with caregiving responsibilities." Marcus was speechless. "I don't know what to say." "Say you'll stay," the CEO replied. "And that you'll consider heading up our new work-life balance committee. Your perspective would be valuable." 3 months later, Marcus sat in the park watching Lily play soccer with her friends. Her laughter carried across the field, a sound that had become more frequent lately. His phone buzzed with a work email, but there was no anxiety attached to it now. His new schedule meant he could check it later, without fear. A woman sat down beside him on the bench. "Is that your daughter? Number 7? Marcus nodded. "That's Lily. She's good," the woman said. "My son's on the other team. I'm Kate, by the way." "Marcus," he replied, shaking her hand. "And thanks. She's just started playing again. It's been a tough year." Kate smiled. "Single parent?" "Yes," Marcus said. "You?" Going on 3 years now, she replied. Divorce. It gets easier, sort of. They fell into easy conversation as the game continued. When Lily scored a goal, Marcus jumped up cheering, and Kate laughed at his enthusiasm. Later that evening, as Marcus tucked Lily into bed, she asked, "Dad, are you still sad about your job?" Marcus smiled. "No, sweetheart. Things are much better now." "Good," she said sleepily. "Because you seemed happy today. Like before Mom got sick." Marcus kissed her forehead, emotion tightening his throat. "I am happy, Lily. We're going to be okay." As he turned out her light, his phone buzzed with a text from Kate, "Nice meeting you today. The kids' teams have practice at the same time next week. Coffee?" Marcus smiled. Life would never be the same without his wife, but perhaps it could still be good, different, but good. His moment of standing up for what truly mattered had changed everything, not just at work, but in how he viewed himself and his future. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is simply to speak our truth calmly, even when our voice shakes. One moment of authentic courage can ripple outward, changing not just our own lives, but the lives of everyone around us. If this story touched your heart, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel for more stories that remind us of what truly matters in life. I'd love to hear in the comments about a time when you stood up for what was right, even when it was difficult. Your stories inspire me to keep sharing mine. Until next time, remember that sometimes the quietest voices make the most profound difference.